what's up? It's your boy Rawk. So many amazing games have been releasing recently for all of the major platforms, and there's still games from earlier in the year that I've still yet to give the attention they deserve. So, what am I gonna be playing today? Old shit.
I told you I needed a year to fully form another decade's worth of opinions. The 2000s, or the noughties as some people call them, because those damn years never learned how to behave themselves. This was a pretty interesting decade for gaming, technically seeing 3 whole console generations within that time span. The N64 and PS1 era came to a close at the beginning of the decade, then along came the GameCube, PS2 and Xbox generation, before finally ending off with the Wii, PS3 and Xbox 360 generation. So, if there were so many consoles getting games during this time period, it stands to reason that some absolutely stellar titles released during it. Which is how you know my opinion really doesn't matter.
I've already talked about my games of the year throughout the 2010s, but I don't want 2000 to 2009 to feel left out, so it's only fair if I take a look at my favourite games of another decade. And maybe when I'm done, I'll have some time left over to still not play Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
What a surprise. We're beginning things super fucking predictably. 2009 was home to some spectacular games. Punch-Out Wii, New Super Mario Bros. Wii, Mario & Luigi Bowser's Inside Story, Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver, Wii Sports Resort, Wii Fit Plus! But ultimately, none of that matters, because I just received my diagnosis. I am officially...
Can it really be considered an addiction if it's the only thing that makes me happy?
I don't care what anybody thinks. Pokemon Wii is an amazing game, and if you disagree, you're wrong and stupid and should rot in hell! Whew. Sorry. I'm not sorry. What isn't there to love about Pokemon Wii? You play as Pikachu, running around these beautiful, lush environments and making friends with all of the Pokemon who are there just living their lives. There's no Pokemon trainers, there's no random encounters, you just get to explore this gorgeous world to your heart's content, and make friends by playing really fun minigames with Pokemon from the first 4 generations. This is what I want Pokemon to be, and in fact, Pokemon Legends Arceus and Pokemon Scarlet and Violet feature large open worlds that Pokemon are free to just exist in. You wanna know what their primary inspiration was? Read it and weep, bitches!
People only denounce Pokemon Wii because they're too afraid to be happy.
I genuinely adore this game, and I feel absolutely no shame in calling it my favorite game of 2009. What are you gonna do? Tell me Ant Nation deserves it more?
Damn it, you might be right.
Oof, this year's gonna be a difficult one. 2008 saw the release of Wario Land the Shake Dimension, Pokemon Platinum, Kirby Superstar Ultra, Mario Kart Wii, Super Smash Bros. Brawl, Animal Crossing Let's Go to the City. And for me, it's between those last 3. These are 3 absolutely stellar games we have here. Animal Crossing Let's Go to the City is a really underrated game in its series in my opinion, and is one of the coziest games I've ever played. Mario Kart Wii is one of the most loved or hated Mario Karts out there, and you'll find me firmly placed in the camp of the former. And Super Smash Bros. Brawl is my personal favourite pre-Ultimate Smash game, and has been ever since I was first checked into the psychiatric facility. This one's a really tough call for me, as I've got so many fond memories with all 3 of these games. Definitely more so with Mario Kart and Smash Bros. Compared to Let's Go to the City though, so I think I'm gonna boot it from the running. And while Mario Kart Wii is fantastic, I have to give this one to Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Brawl just has so much that keeps pulling me back in. The Subspace Emissary with its feature-length collection of cutscenes, all of the modes and unlockables, and hell, just the core gameplay on its own. They're all consistently a blast to return to. And I get to have the true Box of Doom experience in this game. It's a masterpiece. Super Mario Galaxy. Next. Nah, let's be fair here. 2007 did have some heavy hitters, such as Super Paper Mario, Metroid Prime 3 Corruption, Chibi Robo Park Patrol, and there were also some non-Nintendo games like Bioshock, Halo 3, and the Orange Box. Mario Galaxy has some incredibly steep competition. I'm still picking it though. Super Mario Galaxy is a blissful experience. One of the greatest games Nintendo has ever made. Of course it's my favorite game of 2007. The atmosphere, the gameplay, the story are all top notch. Every single aspect of this game worked together so incredibly well to provide a damn near flawless 3D Mario experience. The grand scope and spectacle, the cinematic flair, and some of the greatest and most refined Mario gameplay make Mario Galaxy pure, unadulterated joy from start to finish. Yeah, I'm sure Bioshock and Halo were cool, but this game has an Italian man befriending space bees. There's no competition here. 2006 saw the release of two of the most nostalgic games I've ever experienced, as well as Mother 3 in Japan. I will take this as an opportunity to say something I've gone 14 whole minutes today without saying. Nintendo, please localize Mother 3.
Thank God! Somebody was finally brave enough to say it!
2006 had The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, Metroid Prime Hunters, Kirby's Squeak Squad, Star Fox Command, Elite Beat Agents, but the big battle for me this year is between New Super Mario Bros. And Wii Sports. New Super Mario Bros. Saw the return of the 2D Mario series after a 14-year-long hiatus, and was the first game in a series that people wish would go on a 14-year-long hiatus. Say what you will about the games that followed it, but New Super Mario Bros. Was a damn solid game, seeing a lot of Mario's 3D moves being brought over to 2D, brand new power-ups that people either love or despise, and a really solid campaign that you could take any and everywhere you wanted to. This game is consistently a blast for me to come back to, and I don't know why. It's nothing mind-blowing by any standards, but damn it, it's just simple, addictive 2D Mario fun, and that's why I love it. Wii Sports, on the other hand, was a revolutionary title, introducing the world to the magic of motion controls. This game was what shot the Nintendo Wii to catastrophic levels of success, by showing Grandma she didn't have to be scared. All she had to do was swing the Wii remote to punch her grandson. It was a dream come true. There is no game on this earth as charming as Wii Sports, and all 5 of the sports on offer here still hold up to this day. It doesn't matter how many years go by, Wii Sports is always a top pick whenever I have other people over to play games. And the fun that we can derive from it every single time without fail is astonishing to me. So while New Super Mario Bros. Is a wicked solid game in its own right, Wii Sports absolutely takes the cake here. That is, if we aren't counting the best game that came out in 2006.
When will I stop talking about my love for this game? When the doctors finally pull the plug.
Now, is Chibi Robo an objectively better game than Wii Sports? Well, yeah, it has Drake Redcrest and Divorce. Wii Sports has what? Golf? Chibi Robo is one of the most charming and fun games I've ever played. It takes me right back to my childhood by transporting me to a familiar world that I get to explore through the eyes of a tiny robot. The characters are all so full of life, and while the gameplay seems mundane and uninteresting, it actually ends up being really fun. That, combined with the fact that the story isn't afraid to go to some pretty dark places for a Nintendo game, makes Chibi Robo an endlessly delightful experience that I just adore. It may be tiptoeing on the narrow edge of being a diagnosable problem, but my love for Chibi Robo shines brighter than it does for any other game that released this year. It is the best game of 2006, and I will die on that hill.
And if I keep talking about this game, I may have to.
2005 was a weird year. The first year I've talked about where the Wii didn't even exist yet. But 2005 was also right at the end of the GameCube's life, which means there weren't really a great deal of games to talk about on that system. We had Mario Party 7, Mario Superstar Baseball, Madagascar. So this year was primarily dominated by the Nintendo DS, and of the games that released for the portable this year, Mario Kart DS takes the cake with ease. In all fairness, Animal Crossing Wild World released this year, along with Mario and Luigi Partners in Time, Nintendogs, and the first Pokemon Mystery Dungeon games. But the time I've put into all of these games collectively doesn't even come close to the time I put into Mario Kart DS. This is generally considered to be one of, if not the best Mario Kart game, and I have to agree. This was the game that initialized, I don't know what else to call it, modern Mario Kart. The games before this one all had a certain level of spunk to them, and while some of them, like 64 and Double Dash, were still fantastic, they felt pretty clunky. Mario Kart DS came out and refined the gameplay of this series to the nth degree, and it paid off amazingly. This game feels so damn good to control and is heaps of fun. It was genuinely the only reason I still used a DS for a good portion of my life. And don't even get me started on the mission mode. What an incredible addition that we never saw again. Mario Kart DS is just the perfect Mario Kart to me. Even though I think I prefer 8 Deluxe by just a bit, this game will always be a damn close second, and my favorite game of 2005. Pokemon Dash! 2004 was a great year for Nintendo and was home to a fantastic batch of games. Super Mario 64 DS and Metroid Zero Mission, two amazing remakes of games I have a love-hate relationship with. Mario Party 6 and Mario Power Tennis, the best games in their respective series. And most importantly, Project Rub for the DS.
Nintendo just would not be Nintendo without this game.
But for me, it's pretty clear which of this year's games is my favorite. Pikmin 2 is a pretty love it or hate it sequel to the original GameCube gem, and while I personally fall heavily in the former camp, my favorite game of this year is Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. It isn't my favorite Paper Mario game. That award goes to Super Paper Mario, which is weird because that game still didn't stand a chance against Mario Galaxy. But The Thousand Year Door feels like the perfect Paper Mario experience. Everything about this game feels like it fully encapsulates everything that this series stands for. The combat, the presentation, the world and characters, they're all spectacular in a way that Nintendo as a whole has rarely been able to replicate, let alone the Paper Mario series. There's a reason that whenever Nintendo makes a new Paper Mario game, people don't stop screaming about this game. And it's because their parents didn't give them enough affection. But it's also because Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door is what we want Paper Mario to be. An epic, funny, and downright artful adventure in the Mario universe, packed with life, character, and charm. But I probably shouldn't praise this game too much. I have to be careful, because Nintendo might just make another bad Paper Mario out of spite. 2003 marks the Battle of the Racing Games. A ruthless fight between Mario Kart Double Dash, Kirby Air Ride, and F-Zero GX to see which was my favorite game of the year. You may laugh at it, but your kids will make revision posters about it. 2003 didn't really have much going on outside of these games. We got Mario Party 5, Pokemon Coliseum, and the completion of the Human Genome Project. Now, in all fairness, we did get Wario World this year, which is a stellar game, and being Wario's first and only taste of the third dimension should immediately put it at the top of my list. But I still haven't beaten this game, so picking it would just feel dirty. F-Zero GX is fast, frantic fun, taking the already blisteringly high speeds of F-Zero X on the Nintendo 64 and cranking them to the absolute max. This game is a ton of fun, even if playing it comes with the bittersweet knowledge that this is only the best game in the series because it was the last. Kirby Air Ride is a really unique spin on the racing genre with everybody's favorite pink puffball. But at the end of the day, Mario Kart Double Dash is Mario Kart. It's hard to compete with that. I think Double Dash definitely has its problems and isn't the perfect little lamb that everybody makes it out to be, but it's still one of the best games in the Mario Kart series and has offered me hours and hours of fun over the years. I honestly think F-Zero GX and Kirby Air Ride could both be argued to be better games from an objective standpoint. But there's just a level of fun that can only be achieved by playing Mario Kart. And even though F-Zero and Kirby come close, they'll never quite reach that in my opinion.
Alright kids, get studying!
Oh look, it's a year that saw the release of a 3D Mario game. I wonder which game will be Rawk's favourite. Yeah, I'm a bitch. But let's ignore that for a second because 2002 was also home to The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker and Metroid Prime. Now Wind Waker is a game that I still haven't played yet because gasp, I'm alive. But of all of the 3D Zeldas, this is the one that's consistently caught my eye the most. And from what I've heard, it's a pretty common pick for favourite Zelda for many fans. Metroid Prime, on the other hand, is a game that I have played, and I absolutely adore it. The atmosphere of this one is on another level, really making you feel isolated on an alien planet where you're surrounded by danger. It's a staple of the Metroid series, but Prime's execution of it is invigorating. The gameplay, while a little bit dated and archaic, feels really damn good to me, and makes traversing this world and uncovering its secrets feel all the more tense. I love Metroid Prime so much, but it doesn't have Il Piantissimo, so I guess I actually hate it. Super Mario Sunshine is such a misunderstood game. People constantly go on about how, oh, this is the worst 3D Mario game. 64 is infinitely better. And this was just a poor attempt at a sequel. Those people need to shut their damn mouths and rethink their choices. Super Mario Sunshine is sublime, alright? Isle Delfino is such a fun location to explore, and it's all interconnected, which makes this feel all the more like a real adventure, with real impact. The gameplay is some of the tightest and most enjoyable in the series, and Flood adds an extra layer of fun by offering a wealth of new abilities for Mario to take advantage of. And sure, the whole blue coin thing is annoying by 2002 standards, but with a guide and a spare half an hour, it's not a problem in the slightest. People just want a reason to bitch. Well, instead of bitching, I'm gonna bitch about bitching, and bitch about people bitching about Super Mario Sunshine until they accept the truth. Sunshine is a good game, bitch! The year the GameCube launched and the N64 perished. 2001 has some steep competition for the top spot, and it also has Super Smash Bros. Melee. Super Smash Bros. Melee is a good game, but Game of the Year, it is not. Animal Crossing is also a pretty easy contender, but after, well, May 24th, 2021's little incident, I think I'm just gonna pretend this game doesn't exist. So that leaves us with Luigi's Mansion and Pikmin. God, I don't know, man! Listen, I adore both of these games an unhealthy amount. They're both absolute gems that I try and replay every single year if I can help it. And they're both big reasons as to why I love the GameCube as much as I do. Luigi's Mansion is the perfect way for the Mario series to dabble in the horror genre. It's obviously not explicitly a horror game, but it has some really creepy elements that the rest of the series wouldn't even think about implementing. And Pikmin is an adorable adventure starring Captain Olimar and the Pikmin, microscopic creatures that are constantly fighting to survive on this strange, luscious planet. Both of these games are absolutely top-notch in the gameplay department, and both were launching points for fantastic series that have to wait 8 years to get a new game. I think if I absolutely had to pick a favorite of the two, it would be Luigi's Mansion, purely because I vastly prefer this game to its two sequels, whereas the Pikmin series only got better and better with each entry. That doesn't mean I don't love the original, it just means that I love Luigi's Mansion a tiny bit more. finally, 2000, a year that really only had two contenders for me, being Paper Mario and The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. Now, technically speaking, there is only one contender here, because I've only beaten one of these games. Paper Mario was the first game in this beloved series and was an absolute masterpiece. It took the turn-based RPG gameplay that usually bores me to tears and made it incredibly fun and addicting by introducing action commands. Much like the Thousand Year Door after it, the characters and world of this game are so charming and are really what make this game as memorable as it is. But even though I haven't beaten it yet, Majora's Mask is truly a special gaming experience. The time I've spent with this game, however limited, has been nothing short of blissful. I love this game so much, but at least for the time being, it wouldn't feel right putting it above Paper Mario. But when I eventually decide I want to be one step closer to death, I may have to reconsider that opinion. I mean, come on. I love Paper Mario so much that I bought a fake box so I could get a taste of what it could be like to truly be happy. That's gotta count for something. Well, I did it again. This is yet another list of games that I enjoyed the most throughout an entire decade of gaming. It's like something you'd bring to show and tell, only to be too embarrassed to present to the class. But hey, that doesn't change how much I enjoy looking back at 10 years worth of gaming experiences and deciding which ones were my absolute favorite. And I can't wait to do this for a decade that I wasn't even alive in.
So, while I wait another year for another decade's worth of opinions to form, I've got plenty of time to finally catch up on some of the games I've missed over the years, and I know one thing for certain. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 won't be one of them.